Welcome to my channel. Have you ever wondered how a cricket superstar became one of the most talked about political leaders in Pakistan? How did a man who was once celebrated on cricket grounds around the world later become the center of political debates, controversies, and dramatic national events? What kind of journey takes a person from lifting a World Cup trophy to leading an entire country? Today, we are going to explore the fascinating story of Imran Khan. This is not just the story of a politician or a cricket player. It is a story of dreams, determination, success, setbacks, and unexpected twists. It is a journey that began with a young boy in Lahore who loved sports and dreamed big. Nobody knew at that time that this young boy would one day become a national hero and later a leader followed by millions of people. Throughout his life, Imran Khan experienced incredible highs and difficult lows. He became one of the greatest cricketers Pakistan has ever produced. He led his country to a historic World Cup victory. He built a major charity hospital when many people thought it was impossible. Then he entered politics, faced years of failure and criticism, and eventually became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. But that was not the end of the story. In fact, some of the most dramatic moments came after he reached the highest office in the country. His rise to power, his challenges in government, and the events that followed created headlines across Pakistan and around the world. So, what made Imran Khan such an influential figure? Why do millions of people support him? Why do others strongly criticize him? And how did his life become one of the most remarkable stories in Pakistan's history? Stay with me until the very end because every chapter of this journey reveals a new surprise, a new challenge, and a new turning point in the extraordinary life of Imran Khan. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Dreamed Big. Every great story begins somewhere. Some begin in small villages, some in crowded cities, and some begin with a young boy who dreams of doing something extraordinary. The story of Imran Khan begins in the beautiful city of Lahore, Pakistan. He was born on October 5, 1952, into a respected and educated family. At the time, nobody could imagine that this young boy would one day become a cricket legend, a national hero, and later the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Like many children, he had dreams, fears, and challenges. But what made him different was his determination to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey became. Imran Khan grew up in a family that valued education, discipline, and hard work. His father was a successful civil engineer, and his mother came from a well-known family. Because of this environment, young Imran learned important values from an early age. His parents encouraged him to study, behave well, and always try his best. However, Imran was not the type of child who liked to sit quietly all day. He was energetic, active, and always looking for adventure. He loved spending time outdoors and enjoyed competing with others in different activities. As a child, Imran was known to be independent and confident. He liked challenges and was not afraid to take risks. While many children were happy with ordinary routines, Imran always seemed to be searching for something bigger. This attitude would later become one of the most important parts of his personality. Even at a young age, he wanted to prove himself and show that he could achieve great things. One of his biggest interests was sports. He enjoyed various games, but cricket quickly became his favorite. Cricket was already a popular sport in Pakistan, and young Imran spent countless hours watching matches, practicing with friends, and dreaming about playing at a higher level. At first, cricket was simply a hobby. It was something he enjoyed after school and during his free time. But over the years, this hobby slowly turned into a passion. His school years played an important role in shaping his character. He attended some of the best educational institutions available to him and learned valuable lessons about discipline, teamwork, and responsibility. School was not only about books and exams. It was also where he developed friendships, learned how to compete, and discovered the importance of persistence. Like every student, he faced difficulties and setbacks. There were times when things did not go as planned, but these experiences helped him become stronger. As he grew older, his cricket skills continued to improve. However, success did not come easily. Many people think talented individuals become successful overnight, but the reality is very different. Imran spent years practicing, learning, and improving his game. He made mistakes, experienced disappointments, and had moments when progress seemed slow. Yet he never gave up. Every challenge became a lesson, and every failure became motivation to work harder. One of the most important turning points in his life came when he moved abroad for higher education. Leaving Pakistan was not easy. Suddenly, he found himself in a completely different environment with different customs, cultures, and expectations. For many young people, such a change can be overwhelming. Everything from the language and social habits to the educational system felt different. But instead of allowing these differences to stop him, Imran used them as opportunities to learn and grow. Living abroad taught him valuable life lessons. He met people from different backgrounds and learned to understand new perspectives. These experiences broadened his view of the world and helped him become more confident. He learned how to adapt to new situations and how to succeed in unfamiliar environments. These qualities would later help him both in cricket and in public life. While continuing his education, he remained deeply committed to cricket. Balancing studies and sports was not always easy. Many days required sacrifice, discipline, and careful time management. While others were enjoying leisure activities, Imran often spent his time practicing and improving his skills. He understood that achieving big dreams required hard work and patience. The beginning of his serious cricket journey was exciting but also challenging. There were many talented players competing for opportunities. Simply being passionate about cricket was not enough. He needed skill, determination, and mental strength. In the early years, he faced criticism and doubts. Some people questioned whether he could succeed at the highest level. Others believed he still had much to learn before becoming a top player. But Imran refused to let criticism discourage him. Instead, he used it as fuel to push himself further. He continued practicing, learning from experienced players, and improving every aspect of his game. Slowly but surely, people began to notice his talent. Coaches, teammates, and cricket experts started recognizing that this young man possessed something special. At this stage of his life, nobody could see the full picture yet. To most people, he was simply a young student with a passion for cricket and a dream of achieving something meaningful. The road ahead was still long, and many challenges were waiting for him. Success was not guaranteed. Fame was not certain. The future remained unknown. But what nobody realized was that this ordinary boy from Lahore was about to begin an extraordinary journey. The same young man who spent hours practicing cricket, facing setbacks, and chasing his dreams would soon rise to heights few could imagine. In the years ahead, he would not only represent Pakistan on the world stage but would also become one of the greatest cricket players the world had ever seen. And that is where the next chapter of this remarkable story begins. Chapter 2, The Rise of a Cricket Legend. As we ended the last chapter, young Imran Khan was chasing a dream that seemed almost impossible. He was a talented student who loved cricket. But talent alone was not enough to reach the highest level. Thousands of young players dreamed of representing Pakistan. Only a few would succeed. The question was simple: could Imran Khan become one of them? The answer began to reveal itself when he entered professional cricket. Stepping into the world of international sports was very different from playing friendly matches or school competitions. The competition was tougher, the pressure was greater, and every mistake was noticed. Suddenly, Imran was playing against some of the best cricketers in the world. These players had years of experience, incredible skills, and strong reputations. For a young cricketer, it was both exciting and intimidating. In the beginning, things were not always easy. Many people today remember Imran Khan as a cricket legend, but few remember the struggles he faced during his early years. His performances were sometimes inconsistent, and he had to work extremely hard to improve. There were moments when critics questioned whether he could become a truly great player. Some believed he had talent but lacked experience. Others felt he still had much to learn before he could compete with the world's best. Instead of becoming discouraged, Imran used every criticism as motivation. He spent countless hours practicing, studying the game, and improving his physical fitness. He understood that success in international cricket required more than natural ability. It required discipline. It required sacrifice. Most importantly, it required a strong mindset. As the years passed, his dedication began to produce results. His bowling became faster and more dangerous. His batting improved steadily. His confidence grew with every match. More importantly, he developed a reputation as a player who never stopped fighting, even during difficult situations. This fighting spirit would later become one of the defining features of his leadership. Playing cricket around the world also helped him grow as a person. He traveled to different countries, faced different conditions, and learned from some of the finest players in the sport. Every match became a classroom. Every victory taught him something. Every defeat taught him even more. Slowly but surely, he transformed from a promising young player into one of Pakistan's most valuable cricketers. Several important matches played a major role in changing his career. Strong performances against top international teams helped him gain respect from teammates, opponents, and cricket experts. Fans began to notice his ability to perform under pressure. When Pakistan needed someone to step forward, Imran often accepted the challenge. These moments helped build his reputation as a dependable player and a future leader. As his influence within the team grew, so did his responsibilities. Eventually, he was given one of the most important roles in Pakistani sports: captain of the national cricket team. Becoming captain was a tremendous honor, but it also brought enormous pressure. Cricket was more than just a sport in Pakistan. Millions of people followed every match. Every victory was celebrated passionately, and every defeat was analyzed endlessly. Leading a national team meant carrying the hopes and expectations of an entire country. Whenever Pakistan lost, criticism could be harsh. Whenever Pakistan won, expectations became even higher. Imran now had to think not only about his own performance but also about the performance of every player on the team. Leadership taught him valuable lessons. He learned how to motivate people, make difficult decisions, and remain calm during stressful situations. He learned that true leaders must sometimes take responsibility when things go wrong. He also learned how important teamwork was. Even the most talented captain could not win matches alone. Behind the scenes, the sacrifices were enormous. While fans saw the excitement of international matches, they rarely saw the hard work required to reach that level. Imran spent years training, traveling, and maintaining strict discipline. Injuries, exhaustion, and personal sacrifices became part of daily life. Success demanded commitment, and he was willing to pay the price. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, Imran Khan had already become one of Pakistan's most respected cricketers. However, one dream still remained unfinished. He wanted to bring the Cricket World Cup to Pakistan. The journey to the 1992 Cricket World Cup was filled with challenges. Pakistan's campaign did not begin smoothly. The team faced setbacks, criticism, and moments when their chances of success seemed very small. Many experts doubted they could win the tournament. Some even believed they might be eliminated early. It was during this difficult period that Imran Khan delivered a message that would become legendary. He encouraged his team to think of themselves as cornered tigers. A tiger is most dangerous when it is cornered because it fights with everything it has. Imran wanted his players to believe that they could overcome any obstacle if they refused to surrender. The message worked. The team began to play with greater confidence and determination. Match after match, Pakistan fought back. Victories started replacing defeats. Hope replaced doubt. Fans who had almost given up began to believe again. As the tournament progressed, excitement spread across Pakistan. Millions of people watched every game, hoping that something special was happening. The team that many had underestimated was now competing against the strongest cricket nations in the world. Then came the final. It was the biggest match of their lives. The pressure was immense. The expectations of an entire nation rested on the shoulders of the players. But instead of collapsing under pressure, Pakistan rose to the occasion. The team delivered a memorable performance and achieved what many thought was impossible. Pakistan won the 1992 Cricket World Cup for millions of Pakistanis. It was a moment of pure joy and national pride. Across the country, people celebrated in the streets. Families gathered around televisions. Children dreamed of becoming cricketers. And at the center of it all stood Imran Khan, holding the World Cup trophy high above his head. That victory transformed him into a national hero. He was no longer simply a great cricketer. He had become a symbol of determination, leadership, and belief. His story inspired countless people who saw proof that persistence and courage could overcome even the greatest challenges. At that moment, it seemed as though Imran Khan had achieved everything a cricketer could possibly dream of. Fame, respect, admiration, and sporting glory were all his. But then something unexpected happened. Just when he had reached the very peak of his cricket career and the entire nation celebrated him as a champion, Imran Khan made a decision that shocked many people. Instead of spending the rest of his life enjoying fame and success, he chose a completely different path: one that would change not only his future but also the future of Pakistan itself. Chapter 3. From cricket hero to nation builder. Winning the 1992 Cricket World Cup was the greatest moment of Imran Khan's sporting career. Millions of Pakistanis celebrated the historic victory, and his name became part of the nation's history forever. For many athletes, such a moment would have been the perfect ending. After achieving everything they dreamed of, they would simply enjoy fame, wealth, and admiration for the rest of their lives. Many people expected Imran Khan to do exactly that. After all, he had already become one of the most famous and respected figures in Pakistan. What more was left to achieve? Then came the surprise. Shortly after reaching the highest point of his cricket career, Imran Khan decided to retire from international cricket. The announcement shocked many fans. Some believed he could continue playing for several more years. Others felt Pakistan still needed his leadership on the cricket field. But Imran believed his journey in cricket had reached its natural conclusion. He had accomplished the dream he had chased for decades. Now he wanted to focus on something different. As people discussed his retirement, one question was on everyone's mind. What would Imran Khan do next? Would he become a cricket commentator? Would he move into business? Would he spend his time enjoying the rewards of his success? Nobody knew the answer. But Imran Khan had already started thinking about a completely different mission. The inspiration for this new mission came from a deeply personal experience. Years earlier, his mother had suffered from cancer. During her illness, he saw firsthand how difficult it was for many families to receive proper medical treatment. He realized that countless people in Pakistan could not afford quality health care. This problem affected rich and poor alike, but it was especially painful for ordinary citizens who lacked resources. Instead of simply talking about the problem, Imran decided to do something about it. He announced an ambitious plan to build a cancer hospital in Pakistan where people could receive treatment regardless of their financial situation. It was a bold idea. In fact, many people believed it was impossible. At that time, building a modern cancer hospital required enormous financial resources, advanced equipment, skilled doctors, and public trust. Critics questioned whether a former cricketer could successfully manage such a massive project. Some people openly laughed at the idea. Others politely supported him but privately doubted that the hospital would ever become a reality. But Imran Khan was no stranger to skepticism. Throughout his life, people had doubted him. They doubted him as a young cricketer. They doubted him as a captain. They doubted him before the World Cup. Each time, he responded with determination. Now he faced another challenge. To build the hospital, he needed money. A lot of money. Instead of relying only on wealthy donors, he decided to take his message directly to the people. He traveled across Pakistan, visiting cities, towns, schools, colleges, and communities. Everywhere he went, he explained his vision. He spoke about cancer patients, struggling families, and the importance of providing quality health care. The journey was exhausting. Day after day, he met people from different backgrounds. Some donated large amounts. Others contributed only small sums. Yet every contribution mattered. School children donated pocket money. Shopkeepers contributed what they could afford. Families gave donations because they believed in the mission. One of the most remarkable aspects of the fundraising campaign was the emotional connection it created between Imran Khan and ordinary citizens. For many years, people had admired him as a cricket hero. Now they began to see him in a different way. He was no longer just an athlete. He was someone trying to solve a real problem affecting thousands of lives. Slowly but surely, support grew. The dream that many considered impossible began to take shape. Eventually, the hospital became a reality. The opening of Shaukat Khana Memorial Cancer Hospital was seen as a major achievement. It demonstrated that determination, public support, and a clear vision could accomplish extraordinary things. He listened to stories about poverty, unemployment, education, healthcare, and justice. The more he traveled, the more concerned he became about the country's future. He began asking difficult questions. Why were so many people struggling? Why were public services often inadequate? Why did so many citizens feel disappointed with the political system? These questions gradually pushed him toward a new area of interest, politics. At first, many people were surprised. Politics was a completely different world from cricket and charity work. Success in sports did not guarantee success in government. The political arena was filled with experienced politicians, powerful parties, and complicated challenges. Yet Imran believed that meaningful change required political action. He felt that if Pakistan was to improve, someone needed to challenge the existing system and present a different vision for the future. In 1996, he founded a political party called Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, often known simply as PTI. The name reflected ideas of justice, accountability, and reform. Imran hoped the party would offer a new direction for Pakistan. However, entering politics proved far more difficult than winning cricket matches. Many people laughed at his political ambitions. Critics argued that being a successful athlete did not qualify someone to lead a nation. Political opponents dismissed him as a celebrity trying to enter a field he did not fully understand. Even some of his supporters wondered whether he had made a mistake. The early years of PTI were extremely challenging. Election after election, the party struggled to gain support. While established political parties won large numbers of seats, PTI often achieved very little success. Media attention was limited. Resources were scarce. Public support remained relatively small. For many politicians, repeated disappointments would have been enough to quit. But Imran Khan refused to give up. Year after year, he continued speaking about his vision for Pakistan. He traveled across the country, attended public meetings, and worked to build support for his party. Sometimes the crowds were small. Sometimes the results were disappointing. Yet he remained committed to the cause. The years passed. Victories remained rare, criticism remained constant. Many observers concluded that Imran Khan's political career would never succeed. To them, he would always be remembered as a cricket hero and charity leader, not as a serious political force. But history often moves in unexpected ways. While critics believed his political dream was fading, important changes were beginning to take place beneath the surface. A new generation of Pakistanis was paying attention. Public frustration with traditional politics was growing. Social media was creating new opportunities for communication and organization. After years of struggle, setbacks, and apparent failure, A dramatic political shift was approaching, one that would transform Imran Khan's future and bring him closer than ever to the highest office in Pakistan. Chapter 4: The Long Road to Power. By the mid-1990s, Imran Khan had already achieved what most people could only dream about. He had become a cricket legend, won the 1992 Cricket World Cup, and built a major cancer hospital that helped thousands of people. Yet despite these achievements, he believed that Pakistan still faced many serious challenges. He felt that real and lasting change could only come through politics. This belief led him to establish Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, in 1996. However, what followed was not a story of quick success. Instead, it became a long and difficult journey filled with setbacks, criticism, and years of uncertainty. The early years of PTI were extremely challenging. When Imran entered politics, many people viewed him as a cricket hero rather than a future political leader. They admired his achievements in sports, but they were unsure whether he had the experience needed to govern a country. Politics was a complex world dominated by powerful parties that had spent decades building support networks across Pakistan. Compared to these established political organizations, PTI was small and inexperienced. The first elections were disappointing. PTI struggled to win seats, and the results were far below what Imran and his supporters had hoped for. Election after election brought frustration. While other parties celebrated victories, PTI often found itself on the sidelines. Many political analysts predicted that the party would eventually disappear. Some newspapers described PTI as a political experiment that had failed. Television commentators questioned whether Imran Khan should remain in politics at all. The criticism could be harsh. Political opponents argued that being a successful athlete did not automatically make someone a capable politician. They accused him of lacking practical political experience. Others suggested that his ideas were unrealistic and impossible to implement. Every defeat seemed to give critics more reasons to attack him. For many years, it appeared that they might be right. But something interesting was happening beneath the surface. Even though PTI struggled at the ballot box, Imran Khan continued attracting loyal supporters. These supporters admired his determination. They believed that unlike many traditional politicians, he genuinely wanted to improve the country. They respected the fact that he continued speaking about justice, accountability, transparency, and reform, even when election results were disappointing. His message remained remarkably consistent. He argued that Pakistan needed stronger institutions, less corruption, and better opportunities for ordinary citizens. He often spoke about creating a fair system where everyone would be treated equally under the law. Whether people agreed with his solutions or not, many appreciated that he focused on issues that affected everyday life. As the years passed, his message began to resonate with a growing number of Pakistanis, especially young people. At the same time, a major technological change was transforming politics around the world: the rise of social media. Platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other digital networks allowed political leaders to communicate directly with citizens. For PTI, this was a game changer. Unlike traditional political parties that relied heavily on established media networks, PTI supporters became highly active online. They shared speeches, organized campaigns, discussed political issues, and spread the party's message across the internet. Pakistanis, many of whom felt frustrated with traditional politics, were particularly attracted to this new style of communication. They saw Imran Khan as someone who represented change. They admired his independence and his willingness to challenge powerful political figures. As social media expanded, so did PTI's influence. Gradually, public rallies began growing larger. What had once been small gatherings turned into massive events attracting thousands of people. In city after city, supporters filled streets, parks, and stadiums. People traveled long distances to attend these rallies. The atmosphere was energetic and emotional. Supporters waved party flags, chanted slogans, and listened carefully to speeches about Pakistan's future. These rallies became some of the most important moments in PTI's rise. They demonstrated that support for the party was no longer limited to a small group of loyal followers. A broader movement was beginning to emerge. The growing popularity of PTI surprised many political observers. Some who had dismissed the party years earlier now started paying closer attention. Media coverage increased. Political opponents became more cautious. It was becoming difficult to ignore the momentum that was building around Imran Khan. Several key political developments further strengthened his position. Public dissatisfaction with aspects of governance, economic concerns, and debates about accountability created opportunities for PTI to attract new supporters. As political discussions intensified across the country, more people began considering alternatives to the traditional parties. By the time the next major election cycle approached, PTI had transformed dramatically. It was no longer viewed as a minor political organization. Instead, it had become one of the country's most important political forces. Then came the 2018 general election campaign. This campaign would become one of the most significant periods in Imran Khan's political career. Across Pakistan, political discussions dominated television programs, newspapers, social media, and everyday conversations. Citizens followed campaign developments closely. Supporters believed that PTI finally had a realistic chance of forming a government. Opponents worked hard to challenge that possibility. Imran traveled extensively during the campaign. He addressed large crowds, participated in interviews, and presented his vision for the country's future. His speeches focused on governance, economic development, institutional reform, and social welfare. Supporters viewed the election as a historic opportunity to bring meaningful change to Pakistan. Excitement spread throughout the country. Every rally attracted attention. Every speech generated discussion. Every political development was closely analyzed. As election day approached, anticipation continued to grow. Then, finally, Pakistan went to the polls. When the results began to emerge, it became clear that something extraordinary had happened. After more than 2 decades of political struggle, PTI had achieved a major breakthrough. The party won enough seats to become the largest political party in the National Assembly. The man who had spent years facing criticism, disappointment, and skepticism was now on the verge of achieving his greatest political victory. Soon afterward, Imran Khan was elected Prime Minister of Pakistan. For his supporters, it was an emotional moment unlike any other. Many had stood beside him through years of defeats and criticism. They remembered the days when political experts dismissed PTI as irrelevant. They remembered the small rallies, the disappointing election results, and the constant attacks from opponents. Now, after decades of persistence, their leader had reached the highest political office in the country. Celebrations erupted across many parts of Pakistan. Supporters gathered in homes, streets, and public spaces. Social media was flooded with messages of excitement and hope. For millions of people, it felt like the beginning of a new era. Yet alongside the celebrations came enormous expectations. People expected improvements in governance. They expected economic progress. They expected accountability and reform. They expected promises to become reality. Millions of citizens looked toward the new Prime Minister with hope and anticipation. But history has shown many times that winning power is often easier than using it effectively. The campaign was over. The celebrations would eventually end. And the difficult work of governing a nation was about to begin. Imran Khan had finally reached the destination he had been chasing for more than 20 years. Yet what he did not fully know at that moment was that the toughest battles of his life were still ahead. Because becoming Prime Minister was only the beginning. The real challenges were still waiting for him. Chapter 5: Power, Challenges, and Controversies. After more than 2 decades of political struggle, Imran Khan had finally reached the highest office in the country. The former cricket captain who once lifted the 1992 World Cup trophy was now the Prime Minister of Pakistan. For his supporters, it was the realization of a dream that had taken years to achieve. They believed a new era was beginning. They expected reforms, accountability, and positive change. Across the country, there was excitement, hope, and curiosity about what would happen next. But becoming Prime Minister and running a country are 2 very different things. Winning an election is a challenge. Governing a nation of millions is an even greater one. As Prime Minister, Imran Khan quickly discovered the enormous responsibilities that came with the position. Every decision affected millions of people. Every policy was closely examined by supporters, critics, journalists, and international observers. The expectations placed upon him were incredibly high because many people believed he would transform the country. One of the biggest challenges facing his government was the economy. Economic issues are often difficult for any leader, but they can become especially challenging when public expectations are high. Pakistan faced problems such as inflation, debt, unemployment concerns, and financial pressures. Many citizens hoped their daily lives would improve quickly. However, economic reforms often take time, and results are not always immediate. This created a difficult situation for the new government. Supporters argued that years of previous problems could not be solved overnight. They believed the government needed time to implement reforms and stabilize the economy. Critics, however, questioned whether enough progress was being made. They pointed to rising costs and economic difficulties as evidence that the government was struggling to deliver on its promises. At the same time, Imran Khan's government was dealing with important international relationships. As Prime Minister, he represented Pakistan on the global stage. This required managing diplomatic relations with neighboring countries, major world powers, international organizations, and economic partners. Foreign policy became an important part of his leadership. Meetings with international leaders, participation in global forums, and discussions about regional security and economic cooperation became regular aspects of his role. Supporters praised his efforts to present Pakistan's perspective internationally and strengthen the country's image abroad. Meanwhile, his government introduced various policies and reforms in areas such as governance, social welfare, and public administration. Programs designed to assist lower-income citizens received attention and support from many people. Efforts to improve government systems and increase accountability were also promoted as important priorities. For supporters, these initiatives demonstrated that the government was working toward meaningful change. They argued that reforms take time and that progress should be measured over the long term rather than through immediate results. However, critics viewed many issues differently. Opposition parties frequently questioned government decisions. They argued that certain policies were ineffective or insufficient. Political debates became increasingly intense. Television programs, newspaper articles, and social media discussions often focused on disagreements between the government and its opponents. As time passed, the political environment became more polarized. Supporters defended the Prime Minister passionately. Critics challenged him just as strongly. Then came another major challenge that affected not only Pakistan but the entire world. Global economic disruptions created new difficulties for governments everywhere. International events affected trade, energy prices, inflation, and economic stability. Countries around the world faced uncertainty, and Pakistan was no exception. These global developments added pressure to an already difficult situation. Economic concerns became even more significant. Political debates became more heated. Public frustration increased in some areas. The government found itself under growing pressure from multiple directions at the same time. Meanwhile, opposition parties began working more closely together. Although they often disagreed with each other on various issues, they shared a common goal: challenging Imran Khan's government. Over time, the opposition became increasingly organized and vocal. The political atmosphere grew tense. Parliamentary debates became more confrontational. Public speeches became sharper. Political accusations became more frequent. The divisions within the political system appeared to be deepening. As these tensions increased, discussions about the future of the government became more serious. Questions emerged about whether the Prime Minister still had enough political support to continue leading effectively. Then came one of the most dramatic moments in Pakistan's recent political history. A vote of no confidence was introduced against Prime Minister Imran Khan. For many citizens, this was an extraordinary development. A vote of no confidence is one of the most significant political mechanisms in a parliamentary system. If successful, it can remove a sitting Prime Minister from office. The political stakes could not have been higher. The days leading up to the vote were filled with uncertainty. Supporters hoped the government would survive. Opponents believed change was coming. News channels provided constant updates. Political meetings continued late into the night. The entire nation seemed to be watching. When the vote finally took place in April 2022, the result changed the course of Pakistan's political history. Imran Khan lost the vote of no confidence. As a result, he was removed from office as Prime Minister. The moment shocked many people. For supporters, it was a painful and emotional development. They believed their leader had been unfairly removed and viewed the event as a major setback. Across the country, many supporters expressed disappointment and frustration. For opponents, It was a significant political victory. They argued that the democratic process had functioned as intended and that leadership had changed through constitutional procedures. Regardless of political opinion, almost everyone agreed on one thing: it was a historic moment. The former cricket captain who had spent decades fighting his way into power was no longer Prime Minister. Many observers assumed this marked the end of his political story. After all, losing power often weakens political movements. Leaders who leave office sometimes struggle to maintain public attention. Some disappear from politics altogether. But Imran Khan was not an ordinary politician. Throughout his life, he had repeatedly demonstrated an ability to recover from setbacks. He had overcome doubts as a cricketer. He had overcome criticism as a charity organizer. He had overcome years of political failures before eventually becoming Prime Minister. Now he faced another challenge. And once again, he refused to give up. Instead of stepping away from politics, he immediately began preparing for a new political battle. Public gatherings, speeches, and political activities continued. Supporters remained highly motivated. Political debates became even more intense than before. What happened after his removal surprised many observers. Rather than fading from public life, Imran Khan remained one of the most influential and talked-about figures in Pakistan. His supporters became increasingly active. His critics continued challenging him. The political landscape grew more dramatic and unpredictable. Many people thought his political journey was ending. In reality, a completely new chapter was just beginning. And what happened next would capture the attention of the entire nation and turn Imran Khan into the center of one of the most dramatic political stories in Pakistan's modern history. Chapter 6. The most dramatic chapter. When Imran Khan lost the vote of no confidence in April 2022 and left the office of Prime Minister, many political observers believed they were witnessing the end of a remarkable political journey. After all, history is full of leaders who lost power and slowly disappeared from the spotlight. Some retired quietly. Others struggled to remain relevant. Many assumed that Imran Khan would face a similar fate. But what happened next surprised almost everyone. Instead of fading away, Imran Khan remained at the center of Pakistan's political conversation. In fact, in many ways, the period after leaving office became one of the most dramatic and closely watched chapters of his entire life. The political battle that followed attracted national attention and kept millions of people focused on every new development. Soon after his removal from office, Imran began holding public gatherings and political rallies across the country. These events attracted large crowds. Supporters traveled long distances to attend. Many wanted to hear directly from the man they still considered their leader. The energy at these gatherings demonstrated that his political influence had not disappeared. For his supporters, the rallies were proof that he still enjoyed significant public backing. They believed that his removal from office had strengthened rather than weakened his connection with ordinary citizens. Every large gathering seemed to reinforce the idea that he remained a major force in Pakistani politics. At the same time, his political opponents continued challenging him. They argued that democratic systems allow governments to change through constitutional processes and that the vote of no confidence was part of that system. Political disagreements became increasingly intense. Supporters and critics often viewed the same events from completely different perspectives. As these debates continued, Media coverage played a major role in shaping public opinion. Television channels, newspapers, online platforms, and social media became important battlegrounds where competing narratives were presented and discussed. Every speech, interview, rally, court appearance, and political statement received extensive attention. The rise of social media made the situation even more interesting. Millions of Pakistanis followed developments online. Supporters used digital platforms to organize campaigns, share speeches, and express support. Critics used the same platforms to challenge his claims and question his decisions. Political discussions became more active than ever before. As public interest grew, legal and political challenges also increased. Over time, several court cases involving Imran Khan became major national news stories. Legal proceedings, investigations, and political disputes created an environment of constant uncertainty. Every new development generated headlines and sparked fresh debates. Then came some of the most dramatic moments of all. Arrests, court appearances, and legal confrontations became central topics in national discussions. Supporters viewed many of these events as politically motivated. Critics argued that legal institutions were carrying out their responsibilities. These differing interpretations further deepened political divisions. The country seemed to be engaged in an ongoing national conversation about leadership, accountability, democracy, and the future direction of Pakistan. Throughout this period, one thing became clear: Imran Khan remained one of the most influential figures in the country. Whether people supported him or opposed him, very few could ignore him. His ability to attract attention, generate discussion, and mobilize supporters continued to shape the political landscape. Many observers noted that he had transformed political participation, particularly among younger generations. This impact on young people may become one of the most important parts of his legacy. For years, many young Pakistanis had shown limited interest in politics. However, Imran Khan's rise inspired a significant number of them to become more engaged in public affairs. They attended rallies, participated in discussions, followed political developments, and became more active in civic life. Supporters often describe this as one of his greatest achievements. They argue that he encouraged young people to believe they could play a role in shaping the country's future. According to this view, his influence extends far beyond elections or political offices. Critics, however, see the situation differently. They argue that leadership should be judged not only by popularity but also by practical results. Some question whether his policies achieved their intended goals. Others point to controversies and challenges that occurred during his time in government. They believe a complete evaluation of his legacy must include both successes and shortcomings. This difference of opinion is one reason why Imran Khan remains such a fascinating figure. Supporters often see him as a reformer who challenged established political traditions. They admire his determination, his anti-corruption message, and his willingness to confront powerful interests. They point to his achievements in cricket, philanthropy, and politics as evidence of a lifelong commitment to serving the country. Critics, meanwhile, focus on decisions they believe were ineffective or controversial. They argue that leadership requires not only vision but also successful implementation. They question certain policies and challenge some of the claims made by his supporters. Both perspectives are part of the larger story. History rarely judges important figures in simple terms. Most influential leaders leave behind complex legacies that include both achievements and controversies. Imran Khan is no exception. His life has been filled with remarkable successes, difficult setbacks, passionate supporters, and determined critics. Looking back at his journey, it is difficult not to be impressed by the scale of his accomplishments. He began as a young boy in Lahore with a love for sports. He became one of the world's most respected cricketers. He captained Pakistan to its first Cricket World Cup victory. He built a major cancer hospital that continues helping patients. He entered politics despite years of ridicule and disappointment. He spent decades struggling for political success. He eventually became Prime Minister of Pakistan. And even after leaving office, he remained one of the most influential figures in the nation's public life. Very few individuals experience such a wide range of achievements in a single lifetime. The question that future historians will ask is simple: how should Imran Khan be remembered? Will he be remembered primarily as a cricket legend? As a philanthropist who transformed cancer treatment in Pakistan? As a political reformer who energized a generation? As a controversial leader who divided opinion? Or as a combination of all these things? The answer will likely depend on who is telling the story and what future events unfold. Because one of the most important facts about Imran Khan's story is that it is not finished yet. Unlike historical figures whose lives are complete chapters in history books, Imran Khan remains part of an ongoing story. Political developments continue. Public debates continue. Supporters remain active. Critics remain vocal. New chapters are still being written. And that is what makes his journey so fascinating. From the cricket grounds of Pakistan to the halls of government, from moments of triumph to moments of adversity, Imran Khan's life has been a story of ambition, determination, resilience, and controversy. Few people have influenced modern Pakistan in as many different ways. Whether one admires him, criticizes him, or simply observes him, there is no denying that his impact has been significant. And perhaps the most remarkable thing of all is this: after everything he has experienced, the victories, the defeats, the celebrations, the controversies, the rise to power, and the challenges that followed, the final chapter of Imran Khan's story has not yet arrived. It is still being written. Story is truly remarkable. Whether you agree with him or disagree with him, there is no doubt that his life has left a lasting impact on millions of people. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new today, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming stories. Your support helps us create more educational and inspiring content for English learners around the world. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts. In the comment section, tell me, what is the most inspiring part of Imran Khan's journey for you? Was it his cricket success, his charity work, or his political career? Thank you so much for watching. Stay curious, keep learning, and keep improving your English every day. I will see you in the next video with another fascinating story. Until then, take care and have a wonderful day.